My previous series, Kipuka, was focused on the Bon dance, the Buddhist tradition to celebrate the death of the ancestors, and a song called Fukushima Ondo for the dance, which descended from the Japanese immigrants from Fukushima to Hawaii more than 100 years ago. Ever since when I first experienced Hawaii's Bon dance in 2006, I was fascinated by Hawaii version of Bon dance, which is much larger and more festive than the ones in Japan. I learned that the song Fukushima Ondo originally came from an area in Fukushima, which later on became an evacuation zone because of the nuclear plant accident in 2011. I photographed the scenes of the Bon dances and the songs sung in both Hawaii and Fukushima, and followed their story of disappearance and regenerations, including the Great East Japan earthquake, the tsunami, and the lava flows of Hawaii in 2018. Kipuka is a Hawaiian word that means an oasis of vegetation surrounded by lava flow, a place where the seeds of new life spread. Kipuka includes image taken with a classic rotating panoramic camera called the Kodak circuit that has used in Hawaii in the 1930s. It was used in the Japanese photo studio for their custom to do a group photos on the occasion of the funeral circle around the coffin. The circuit allowed a vision of 360 degrees, and with this camera, I captured the landscape of the difficult to return zones in Fukushima, and also the abandoned cemeteries of the first generation Japanese that I went to look for and had found, scattered throughout the islands of Hawaii. In April 2020, I was in Fukushima this year again to photograph the cherry blossoms. No one besides myself was appreciating the cherry blossoms, which was a usual sight in the evacuation zone of Fukushima. But it was not only Fukushima this year. The previous boundaries were created by radiations, but COVID-19 has created new boundaries across the whole nations so that people disappear from under the cherry trees. When the cherry blossoms in Fukushima were about to come to an end, I was called for an assignment in Kitakami in Iwate Prefecture, which is north of Fukushima. There I saw a 2-kilometer long tunnel of cherry blossom in full bloom at the Tenshochi Park, which usually is visited by around 300,000 people during the cherry season. This year, the light up of the trees was cancelled and the sites are remain pitch black at night. As I walked underneath at night, I heard the voices of beasts and felt the existence of the ineffable matters. The boundary between humans and beasts was blurred, and the invisible existence seemed to be in the full joy that they had regained their darkness. I noticed I could encounter more cherry blossom if I traveled north, and my journey started. In order to visualize the ineffable existence that I sensed at the Tenshochi Park, I decided to photograph the scenes of cherry blossoms with the local performers of each place who practice Japanese traditional performing arts, dancing under the tree. The local performers portrayed existence such as the Oni, a Japanese demon-like creature that exists on the border with another world, or the god of mountains, or the god of deers.